In the summer of 2020, I traveled to Budapest, in Hungary, shortly after the city had reopened most of its attractions. In this video, I want to show you what traveling in Hungary is like now and share my top 30 things to do in Budapest. Hello and welcome to Budapest, Hungary. I just got here from Vienna, and of course, as always, we'll visit the number one site first, and in Budapest, that is the Royal Castle. I took the Buda funicular up to Castle Hill. Buda Castle was first established in 1265 by King Bela IV and was destroyed and rebuilt many times throughout Hungary's tumultuous history. Nowadays, the castle complex houses several important museums, including the Castle Museum and the Hungarian National Gallery. The walls of the fortress offer spectacular views of the Chain Bridge and the Hungarian Parliament on the other side of the Danube River. And here the bridge behind me is probably the most famous landmark of Budapest besides the castle. This is the Széchenyi Chain Bridge, and it was the first permanent bridge to link the two parts of the town Buda and Pest together, and thus facilitating the union of Budapest. The part of the town I'm in is called Buda, that's the part where the castle is, and the part on the other side of the river is called Pest. Built by the Scotsman Adam Clark and opened in 1849, the pedestrian-friendly Chain Bridge is widely regarded as one of the great engineering wonders of its time. To this day, it is a symbol of advancement, national awakening, and the linkage between East and West. And now, of course, it's time for the most traditional Hungarian meal, and that is, of course, goulash. Let's take the bus back to the city center. Here is one of the most typical foods from Hungary. This is goulash, as they call it in Hungary, or in the rest of the world we would call this a goulash soup. So as you can see, it has beef, it has potato, it has other vegetables, and it looks great. Let's try it. For the main course, I ordered pörkölt, which is a paprika-infused beef stew and much closer to the dish that is internationally known as goulash. Wow. It's delicious. Good morning! So today we're gonna start our day in style here at one of the fanciest cafes in the city. It's the New York Café, and I'm really excited to see what it's gonna be like. Let's take a look inside. When it opened in 1894, the New York Café was considered to be one of the most magnificent cafes in the world, and it soon became a popular center of literary life in Budapest. Nowadays, it is a great place for breakfast and ideal for trying fancy coffee creations. This is the Hungarian coffee that they have, which is coffee with Palinka. Palinka is the national spirit that they have here in Hungary, and it also has honey and ice cream, and the special thing on top is gold powder. So egészségedre, as they say in Hungarian, with the golden coffee. I took an e-scooter to get to my next destination. And here I am standing in front of the most sacred Catholic church in all of Hungary. This is Basilica of St Stephen. It was finished in 1905 and it contains the mummified hand of King St Stephen. Some of the most interesting sights of the basilica's interior include the golden mosaics on the inside of the dome, the statue of King St. Stephen on the main altar, and the mummified right hand of the king, which is an object of great devotion for Catholics to this day.
The treasury on the second floor contains an impressive collection of precious ecclesiastical objects. I took an elevator and climbed 42 steps to get to see one of the best views of the entire city.
And now we're up here on the dome, and the cool thing is you can walk all around this, so you can see Budapest from all kinds of different angles. Let's take a look.
I descended from the dome, and then it was time for a little break with ice cream.
Right next to the church was this amazing ice cream shop called Gelato Rosa, which has one of the nicest ice cream design I've ever seen. It's super pretty. Let's try it. It also tastes good. Very good. So here you see one of the absolute best ways to get around Budapest, and those are these e-scooters. They're amazing, you see them everywhere, and they enable you to get from one place to the next much faster. It makes sightseeing so much more efficient. So I highly recommend taking these e-scooters while you are in Budapest. And here we are in the most important square of all of Hungary. This is the Hero Square. And there on the big column behind me you can see the Archangel Gabriel. And he appeared in a vision to St. Stephen and promised him that he would rule Hungary. At the bottom of the column you see the 7 historic chieftains of the Magyars. The Magyars are the ancestors of today's Hungarians, and they conquered the Carpathian Basin in the 19th century.
Hero Square was originally designed as the central location for the massive 1,000-year celebration of Hungary in 1896. Back then, Budapest was the second most important city of the Austro-Hungarian Empire after Vienna. The square is located at the end of the prestigious Andrássy út Boulevard.
Right behind the Hero Square, there's this beautiful city park. It's a perfect place to relax on a warm sunny day like today. And I decided to go on a little tour of the lake that's at the beginning of the park. And I rented this fancy red paddle boat to do just that.
Other popular attractions of the city park include the picturesque York Castle from the 19th century, the Museum of Fine Arts, the Széchenyi Baths, and the Budapest Zoo.
So, after a quick Bolt ride, Bolt seems to be what they use here instead of Uber in Budapest. I'll put the link in the description. We are here now at the Fisherman's Bastion. The Fisherman's Bastion is a beautiful viewing platform that was built in 1905, and the neo-Gothic style is supposed to look medieval, and it's got its name from the Fishermen's Guild. The fishermen were responsible for defending this part of the castle wall against potential invaders.
The Fisherman's Bastion offers a marvelous view of the city of Budapest and is particularly beautiful at night and around sunset time. The square in front of the bastion features a statue of King St. Stephen and the gorgeous neo-Gothic Matthias Church, which was destroyed and rebuilt many times. In 1867, the church served as the location for the coronation of the Austrian Emperor Franz Joseph I and Empress Elisabeth as King and Queen of Hungary. This so-called Austro-Hungarian compromise established the dual monarchy of Austria-Hungary, which lasted until 1918. For dinner, I headed over to a popular fish restaurant in the Castle district.
As you know, a big river runs through Budapest. It's the Danube,
and that means that of course there's also delicious fish to be had here, and that's why we're here at the Orgastanya Vendöglő. It's a traditional seafood restaurant. I'm gonna try the traditional food here now. This is a fish soup with carp inside. It's really good. So the main course arrived, and it's a delicious trout with almonds and some sauce here. Let's try it. After this meal, I decided to get the Palinka. Palinka is a traditional fruit brandy from Hungary. It's quite strong, at least 37% alcohol, so quite strong. Ooh, I can already smell the alcohol. This is a raspberry Palinka. It's supposedly the best one. That's what the waiter said. I'm gonna trust him. Let's try the raspberry Palinka. Cheers! Ooh, strong. I can taste the raspberry a little bit, and I can really feel like how it's getting warm. Ooh, nice. Good morning! So today we'll start our day by discovering the most famous shopping area of Budapest. It's called Váci Utka, and we're gonna continue, do a little walking tour until we arrive at Vörösmarty tér. So here we are at the beginning of our tour in front of a famous hotel called Párizsi Udvar. Let's take a quick look inside and then start our walking tour. So as you can see, I'm now inside the Párizsi Udvar. It was built in 1909 and it is a beautiful hotel. Reminds me a bit of that scene in Harry Potter when they get into the Goblin Bank. That's kind of what it really looks like. It's built in the Art Nouveau style. That's a reference to Paris and the shopping arcades that they have there. And it's a truly magnificent building. I continued my walking tour along the Váci Utca and saw several interesting sights on the way, including the quirky Philanthia shop, a beautiful ceramic relief of a postal coach, the elegant Art Nouveau-style Tonnet house, and a very unique fountain. So here we are now at the Gerbeaud fountain from the 19th century, with a pretty sexy statue on top. And the cool thing is this fountain still works as it was intended. It has this giant wheel here on the side, and if you turn it fast enough, the water actually starts running, so it has like a pump. And here we are on the Vörösmarty square. Behind me is Mihály Vörösmarty, a super important poet from the 19th century. He was a very patriotic poet, wrote lots of important poems and stories, essays about Hungary, and yeah, they named the square in his honor. I walked across the square to get to the famous Café Gerbeaud. This is probably the best and fanciest cafe and cake shop in Budapest. It's a traditional coffee house that was founded in 1858, and it's such a beautiful setting out here on the terrace. You can hear there's a live piano playing in the background, and the cakes are said to be absolutely delicious. I ordered several of the best cakes of the coffee house, including their famous 7-layer Dobos torta, the Gerbeaud slice, and the Esterházy slice. So let's try out all of this delicious food now. So I made it to the Parliament, and that's an unexpected advantage of speaking Italian. I actually booked the Italian tour because that was the only one that was still available today. So I'm gonna do the visit of the Parliament in Italian. It's gonna be interesting. Like many of Budapest's most important buildings, the Parliament was inaugurated for the big 1000-year anniversary of Hungary in 1896. It is one of the largest and most luxurious parliament buildings in the world, and still serves as the seat of the National Assembly of Hungary today. The 66-meter high dome hall hosts the crown of St. Stephen, the most important symbol of the Hungarian nation. I walked back towards the central Andrassy út Boulevard and decided to go for a late lunch at the cute Langos Papa restaurant.
So this time for another traditional dish from Hungary, that is the Langos. It's gonna be amazing, I'm sure. So the Langos arrived and it looks so good. As you can see, it's fried dough and it's sour cream with cheese on top. That's the traditional topping. Let's try it. It is really delicious and it's also a lot of food. So I think this would be the perfect kind of food to have right before you go out drinking, because it would really put something in your stomach. Now we're gonna do something really special. It's the sunset time here in Budapest and we're gonna go on a river cruise on the Danube River. I think it's gonna be amazing to see all the sights from the water. So it is such a beautiful atmosphere here on the boat around sunset time, and they also include a free drink. So I got champagne, really nice sparkling wine. So cheers, and let's see what the evening brings.
The Danube River Cruise was my favorite activity in Budapest. It is perfect for seeing sights like the city's bridges, the Liberty Monument, Buda Castle, and the Parliament from a completely new perspective.
So if you're here, I highly recommend this cruise. It lasts about 1 hour and you can reserve the tickets online. I put the link in the description so you can find the boat company easily.
The next morning, I took a tram to get to the first site of the day.
We made it. This is Nagy Sarnok. It's the biggest market hall in all of Budapest and it's beautiful. So obviously you can find lots of sausages here, a lot of paprika, souvenir sacks, and it's also a great place to get breakfast. And that's what I'll try to do right now. Had this amazing tasting menu here with like different Hungarian specialties. The place is called Fakanal Eterem and it's one of the biggest restaurants here in the market hall. So here from my right to left we have first the cabbage salad, then potato and spicy Hungarian pork sausage, then we have the stuffed cabbage, which is a really traditional Hungarian dish, and of course the traditional goulash soup. So I'm really looking forward to trying all of this and yeah, let's see what it tastes like. So my personal favorite was definitely the potato and spicy sausage mix that I had there. That is, for me at least, the one that has just the most flavor and tastes delicious.
I took the metro to get to one of Budapest's most relaxing sites.
Whew. So I just got out of the metro, I can take off the mask again, and I'm now here in front of the Széchenyi Baths, which, as you can see, looks like a giant wedding cake. And it's a typical thing to do here, to go to a bath, because here in Budapest there are more than 400 mineral springs. It is a major spa center here, and yeah, can't wait to try out this experience. Alright, as you can see, I'm suited up to go swimming now. The way it works here is you get this little bracelet that you can use to open
any of these lockers and also to close them. And yeah, and then you just change here in the changing room and then you can go out and swim. I found a free deck chair and jumped straight into one of the main outdoor pools.
Wow, they're actually super nice and the water is extremely warm, so it's perfect for a swim.
I checked out of the bath and took a bolt up to the citadel on Gellért Hill. The view that greeted me there was breathtaking. And obviously here you can see the castle of Budapest on the left side, the chain bridge in the middle, and the Ferris wheel, so-called Budapest Eye, and the St. Stephen's Cathedral on the right. I walked along the walls of the citadel and arrived at an important historic monument. And this lovely lady here behind me is the Liberty Monument. You can see her from all around the city. She's proclaiming freedom with this palm tree branch in her hand. The Liberty Monument was originally erected to honor the Soviet soldiers who died during the liberation of Budapest from the Nazis in 1945. The Soviets didn't leave, however, and Hungary became a Soviet satellite state until it finally won back its independence in 1989. The Liberty Monument was rededicated, and its current inscription reads, "To the memory of those all who sacrificed their lives for the independence, freedom, and prosperity of Hungary." And I found this really cute stand here and I got a Hungarian specialty. This is Kürtöskalács. Kürtöskalács is a special spit cake made from roasted dough that is often topped with additional ingredients like ground walnut or powdered cinnamon and can be filled with pudding and whipped cream. Really nice. Kürtöskalács. What a great name for a sweet. After this snack, I took a taxi across the Danube to get back to Pest and to go for a drink at a very unusual bar.
So here we are now at the Simpla Kert. It's a so-called room bar. It was actually the first and the most successful of the room bars here in Budapest. Room bar means it's actually a bar in a room, as you can imagine. There's lots of different rooms and it's really cool, especially during the warm summer months.
Good morning! So if it looks a bit like I'm standing in the middle of nowhere today, it is because I am. So I'm now about a 25-minute car ride outside of the center of Budapest, here in front of the Memento Park. So the Memento Park is a park that's filled with communist-era sculptures from Budapest. So in other countries of the region, these sculptures were just removed and end up on like dust piles. But here in Budapest, they put them in a beautiful park and we're gonna take a look at them. The Memento Park features more than 40 statues of communist all-stars like Lenin, Marx and Engels, as well as local leaders like Béla Kun. The statues are all done in the socialist realism style, which served the propagandistic depiction of communist values. The sculptures are a powerful reminder of what life was like under the brutal communist totalitarianism that reigned in Hungary between 1949 and 1989. I took a bolt back to the city center to go on a guided walking tour of Budapest's Jewish quarter.
Hi, my name is Abel. I'm going to be your tour guide today. Right now we're at the most beautiful synagogue in Budapest. This is actually the third largest synagogue all over the world. Number 1 is in New York. Number 2, that's in Jerusalem. Number 1 can fit up to 10,000 people, so that's absolutely gigantic. Number 2, 8,000. This one, 4,000.
The Great Synagogue from 1859 was designed by the Austrian architect Ludwig Förster in a mostly Moorish style, incorporating a unique mixture of Byzantine, Romantic and Gothic elements. Next to the synagogue are the graves of 2,000 Jews who died during the Nazi occupation of Budapest. The park of the synagogue is home to a very unique memorial.
Alright, so this right here, this is the Raoul Wallenberg Memorial Garden. This was built for the righteous Gentiles of Hungary, the people who helped Jews during the Second World War. That right there, that is the Tree of Life, Etz Chaim, or the Emmanuel tree. It's sort of an upside down willow tree, and actually on the tree we have exactly 60,000 leaves commemorating the 600,000 Jews who were killed in Hungary and the 6 million from all over the world.
Other interesting sites on the tour were several street art pieces, the Rumbach Street Synagogue, the Karl Lutz Memorial, the Kaczynski Street Synagogue, and the Ghetto Memorial Wall, which features photographs from the Jewish ghetto during the 1940s.
So the tour just ended and it was amazing. I highly recommend it if you want to get a deeper understanding of the history of the Jewish district here in Budapest and the history of the Jewish community in Hungary in general. I'll put a link to the tour in the description so you can find it easily, and I'll also link Abel's Facebook profile in case you want to contact him directly.
For lunch, I decided to check out a popular street food market. This whole food court is super nice, lots of different options. You got burgers, you got traditional Hungarian food, you got vegan food. What a nice place, especially during summertime. Once again, I get some delicious Hungarian pörkölt, or goulash, as we would call it. in a loaf of bread, which is really creative.
And here we are in one of the most elegant buildings in all of Budapest. This is the Hungarian State Opera House. It's a magnificent neo-Renaissance building. It's decorated on the outside with statues of famous composers such as Mozart, Liszt, or Puccini. So there's 3 guided tours every day, and we're gonna do the one at 4 p.m. now.
Funded by the city of Budapest and the Austro-Hungarian Emperor Franz Joseph I, the Hungarian State Opera House first opened its doors to the public in 1875. To this day, it is considered one of the most beautiful opera houses in the world and boasts one of the best acoustics in all of Europe. I really enjoyed my tour of the sumptuously decorated building, which even included a live performance by professional opera singers. And this beautiful building behind me is the Hungarian National Museum. It houses the nation's most important collection of historical relics. It traces the history of the Carpathian Basin from the Stone Age and the history of the Magyar people and Hungary from the 9th century. The elegant interior of the museum acts as an impressive backdrop for the 2 main exhibitions. The first floor explains the history of the Carpathian Basin, the center of Hungary's territory, from prehistory until the 9th century arrival of the Magyars. The second floor covers the time period from the medieval Árpád dynasty all the way until the fall of communism in 1989. And then, it was already time for dinner. So tonight we're mixing things up a bit when it comes to the restaurant choice. This place here is called Havana Bar and Restaurant, and it's a Cuban/Pan Latin American restaurant here in the middle of Budapest. So that's pretty amazing. This is probably the most beautiful courtyard I've seen since my arrival here in Budapest. It's super pretty, and of course I got a traditional drink from Cuba. This is a mojito. Cheers or salud. This is a traditional Cuban dish called the ropa vieja, old cloves, if you translate it word by word. It's a pulled beef, and it also has beans and rice, and it looks great. Let's try it.
This is delicious.
So those are my recommendations for Budapest. What are yours? If you're from there or if you've been there before, please make sure to leave a tips and advice in the comment box below this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Max Nomad for new travel videos published every week. I'm Max Nomad, and I will talk to you again soon.